our ethnic minority group um, in IT, and also in collaboration, we are here in collaboration with another organization that empowers immigrants. So, um, and this goes to serve both somebody who is trying to come in from outside Nigeria, from outside the UK rather, whether from Nigeria or Morocco. I can see someone has joined from Morocco. Fantastic. Great. It means this information has gone really viral and people want to hear the gist. They want to hear the requirements. I see you, Olufemi. Welcome. Someone said he's joining from Malawi. All right. Kenya. Okay, that is good. That is good. And I'm sure, I don't know if anyone has been to this kind of webinar before. Can you let me know? Because I know, I'm sure, I don't know if you're aware that there's a US version as well of this. Probably you heard something about it. Can you put a 111 in the chat? Because obviously some people would have the knowledge of this kind of information and some will be hearing about it for the first time. So let me see. Have you heard about this program before? Has anyone heard about the Global Talent Visa program before? Okay, thank you, Zo. All right, yes. So it's good to know that we know people that some people have heard about it before. Okay, has anyone heard about Tech Nation before? Tech Nation. All right. Okay, good. So I don't want to assume that everyone has I don't want to assume that everyone would have heard about this before. So if you haven't, you're in the right room. So what we are here to engage in and communicate with our audience here tonight is about the how to secure the UK global visa in tech. We want to hear what you need to know and what you need to do uh, to establish your eligibility. You might be eligible and you don't know what to do. All right. It's possible you're eligible, you don't know what to do, and you have all that it takes to get yourself out there and apply for the visa. Probably you've only heard about all the different kinds of visa from the UK, um, the um, the healthcare visa, where doctors, nurses, healthcare workers, or skilled worker visas that people use to get into the UK. You might have heard about that. But in addition to that, those are not the only the visa opportunities are not limited to only that. So if you work in IT, and of course, if you do anything in support or to support an organization that is related to IT, you might be eligible if you are able to provide the answers to the assessments that you would be given in this webinar tonight. You might be able to check your eligibility. That is one. Then you would also learn if you need to show proof of funds. So for most people, if you're coming in as a student, I'm sure you all know this. Well, apologies to anyone who is not aware of this. You may need a lot, you will need a lot of money, not me, you will need a lot of money to prove that you're able to pay for your school fees, you're able to fund yourself and throughout the education. And the same goes for any kind of program that you've come into the UK to do, especially if you've come in to study. I don't want to take much of your time. Wale and Busayo, we have these two amazing uh, guys. Wale and Busayo, please, can you unmute and let me know so I can hand over to you so you get guests, you get them in the room to listen to the presentation. All right. Okay. So let's have you guys here. Wale and Busayo, please. So we have these two amazing young men. Yes, they are here. Okay. Yeah, that's good. I can see them. So um, I'm going to hand over to them. And just before I hand over to them, I'll introduce myself. I'm going to be your host tonight, and Deji is going to be supporting. My name is Patricia Emmanuel. I'm an IT consultant and an analyst. I specialize in software quality and security, and at the same time, I'm a transformational coach. I'm an IT career mentor, and I love to empower people. So, and over and to, with me tonight is Deji. Deji was here earlier. Deji, if you are there, can you unmute and introduce yourself?
Yeah, good evening, everyone. So my name is Deji, and yeah, the CEO of Blue Sky City. So we are happy to have endorsed on this program. So while speaking to them, I found out as a very vibrant organizations, and they kind of come to empower people, which actually aligns with what Blue Sky actually want to do. And I thought that we could kind of partner with them, right? We Today you can see how they can be able to help you to be able to get endorsed and what's the pipeline. And when I listen to them, I kind of love that testimony because it speaks for itself anyway. So we're going to hear from them, and it's an honor to bring them on this platform. Thank you.
Please let me
Yes,
know.
over to you, Wale. Would you need to share your screen so I can
Yes,
just
yes, absolutely.
okay.
Absolutely. But before then, Busayo is trying to come up. I think there's a mix up in the name, so he's just going to rename himself and then come up
All
now.
right. Okay.
Um yeah, so I'll share my screen shortly. But before then, I want to congratulate you for joining this call. Joining this call alone means that you're passionate about this. You really want it, and yeah, it's the right step in the right direction. Right. Once again, my name is Wale Ogunjobi. I'm a UK global talent. I mean, it's something you can say when you have gone through the process and then you have been endorsed. There's nothing as satisfying as that, especially when you are in a space in the UK where a lot of people are limited in terms of work hours, in terms of what they can do, in terms of not even being able to run a business here in the UK. Those are some of the things that we're going to share this evening on why that kind of visa, what you need to put in place to qualify for that visa, right? So we're just I'm going to run you through some of the processes. I also have a colleague here, Busayo. He will be joining us shortly, but Busayo, you can unmute and then maybe review the page already for us so that. All
Yeah.
right.
Hi guys. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining in. We hope you have a good time this evening. Please, if you have any questions, just put them in on the chats. I would probably monitor the chats and yeah.
Okay, so Busaya also is a colleague. He's also a global talent. He got his endorsement, using the civic tech route, and I mean that speaks a lot for you to be big on advocacy, and all of that around governance. but because it has a touch of, technology in it, and based on its track record, it was given the endorsement. Briefly for myself, I got my endorsement with the combination of my edtech company and then my digital marketing background and some of the things that I've achieved around that. So we're just going to still talk about some of the category of people that can get, the endorsement. But briefly, we're from endorse, like Deji said earlier. Endorse, our primary objective is to help immigrants, to empower them, to get every resources they need to get to their desired country. And for you to be here, I believe that it means you're interested in moving to the UK or relocating to the UK. Not to bug you with this, we're going to come back to this, but let's go to the main reason why we are here, which is discussing around the major things we need to know about the global talent visa, and things we need to put in place to be able to get to a point where you're eligible to apply and then ultimately get your endorsement. So we're going to run you through what we call the 5 simple steps, how to crack that code. Very, very important. If you can get a pen and a paper, it will really help you. Some of these resources are online, right? You can still make your research, but what we have done is to summarize it, to put it in simple terms that, can help you. Now, the first step I want to talk about today is to assess your eligibility. Now, there's one thing knowing that you're qualified. There's another thing knowing that you are not, because you need to, do some more work, right? So it's important that you first of all know your status, like they say in healthcare, right? Before you go for prevention or cure, you need to first of all know your status. The same thing applies here. You want to know where you stand. Do you have enough evidences? Do you have all of those things you want to know? Because knowing will help you know what you need to begin to develop and what you need to put together. But to summarize this, in terms of the global talent visa, what they are just looking at before they can endorse you is to see if you have exceptional skills. And these exceptional skills cuts across digital technology, cuts across art and culture, cuts across academic and research. But for the sake of today's webinar, we're going to be focusing on digital technology. And when I mean digital technology, not necessarily you being a software architect or a software engineer. What the criteria states is that you must be working within a digital-led technology company. So I've seen lots of my colleagues that are lawyers, that are accountants, but they got the global talent visa because they are working within the digital-led technology company, right? So no matter what your field is, what you need to do is to make sure that, before you can apply, is to make sure that the organization you are working for is a digital-led technology company, right? So that's one thing you need to know. And when we'll talk about the global talent visa, it has 2 categories. You can either get endorsed as an exceptional talent or an exceptional promise. For the exceptional talent, it means that you must have a proof that you are a recognized leader in that industry or in that field, most likely with 5 years or more experience. But for the exceptional promise, It requires a proven track record, that categorize you as an emerging leader, which means that if you have experience within the last 1 to 3 years, you might qualify as an exceptional talent. Promise. But to know where you stand in terms of your assessment, whether you have what it takes now, or you need to build your profile more, or you need to work on some of your documents more, it's good that you quickly go to endorse.co. You can see this link here, endorse.co/assessment. You're going to be able to do your assessment for free. These are part of the extra freebies you are getting because you are in this webinar. So you can quickly go, maybe after the webinar, right? You can write the code down and then go and assess yourself to know if you're eligible for whichever category that you intend to apply with. So the first step is to assess your eligibility. Now the next step here is when you have known your eligibility status, right? Whether you qualify or not. If you do not qualify, it means that you still have more work to do. If you qualify, it means that you have more work to do also, because you need to start putting your stuff together, right? So in this stage, you need to build a compelling portfolio. That is, you need to curate your portfolio that showcases your achievement, innovation, contribution to your field. This includes publication, patent, awards, any kind of recognition, whether it's from where you work or some third-party body giving you some kind of recognition. And if you want to apply as an exceptional talent, it means that you need to look at what you have done in the last 5 years and then put together some of those achievements. You'll be shocked that sometimes you don't know how much you have achieved, not until you go back 5 years and then you look at everything you have done. When I was trying to apply for the Global Talent Visa, I was really shocked on how much I have achieved personally as a person, but it's good that you do this, right? So I would encourage you to start doing that as soon as possible, trying to look back every of your achievement. And the thing about this thing is no achievement is small. Don't overlook anything. It might just be an award as an employee, as the employee of the month or employee of the year, as simple as that. It might count, right? So you want to document everything and then have like a portfolio where when you're ready to start applying or to begin your application process, in putting your evidences together, you don't need to be doing the reminiscing at that time. What you just need to do is to go to your portfolio and then you are bringing out your arsenal or your bullet, as it were, right? So because of time, I want to move to the next point. And then when I get to the fourth point, I'm going to hand over to my partner, Busayo. He's going to take the last 3 steps. So the third step is to secure strong endorsement. Now, what we mean by this is, aside you creating your portfolio, putting together your achievement, your awards and the likes, you also need what we call LOR, letter of recommendation, from thought leaders, from C executives in your industry, right? So what will they do? They will then recommend you, not only identify find that they have worked with you, or they know you, or they know your abilities, what they also want to do is to endorse you, that you should be endorsed for the global talent visa. So they are the one that will be writing a recommendation letter for you, highlighting what you have done, how they have worked with you, and also recommending that the endorsing body for digital technology, which is the Tech Nation, should also endorse you. So in your application process, you need 3 of these recommendation letters. And don't forget what I said, these guys must be CS executive, top leaders in your industry, not just any industry, digital technology, right? So we're talking about CEOs of top, tech company, especially in your field. We're talking about CFOs, we're talking about COOs, not just a colleague, not a project manager, not a UI UX, but C executive leaders, right? So yeah, so you, like I said, you need 3 of these recommendation letters. Number 4 is to craft a persuasive personal statement, right? So remember I mentioned first the second stage, which is your portfolio. You need to put together your achievement. Number 3 recommendation letters from C executive leaders. Number 4 is you need to now write a compelling narrative about yourself, your past achievement, how you started, that kind of stuff. You want to walk them through how your journey started, what inspired that idea or the startup you're running, or what inspired the career path, what you have done, where you started from. And you want to make sure that this compelling narrative or story that you put together correlates with some of your evidences, your portfolio. Remember I mentioned that earlier. You want to make sure that it correlates with the recommendation letter. So for instance, if you are mentioning that in year 2020 during COVID, for instance, you trained about 50 people online, you want to make sure that during your recommendation letter, one of the people recommending you mentions that, right? You want to make sure that in your personal statement that you also mention something like that, so that your story across board connects. You get what I mean? You want to also explain how your talents align with the country you intend to relocate to, how you want to use your talent to improve or contribute to the growth of the UK. Or in my own case, I wanted to come to Manchester, right, which I am presently, and in my little way I'm contributing to. But in my personal statement, those were things I also added to. I mentioned how I'm going to incorporate the use of artificial intelligence with my edtech technology platform to improve education, which eventually that's one of the things I'm doing here where I am in Manchester, right? So that's what you want to have in the personal statement. Another thing you also want to be careful of are little things like how many pages should your personal statement be, right? How many words should it have? Those are some of the nitty-gritties. I might not be able to discuss everything here because of time, but some of those things are the things that you also need to really find out on. Just so that someone will not feel like this guy is a bad boy, he's not telling us everything. Your personal statement should not be more than 3 pages, And then the words altogether, I think, should not be more than 1,000 words, right? So you want to put everything together to make sure that it meets the requirement. So I'm just going to pause now, and then I would hand over to my colleague, Sayo. He will run us through the remaining 3 steps, and then we can also run you through on how personally, we have our roadmap in terms of how we can help other candidates, that do not want to go through this process alone, that they need mentorship and all of that, and then we can take questions and answers. Over to you, Bisaya.
Yeah, thanks, Wally, for doing justice to that. I think what you've said is huge enough for everyone to glean some certain levels of understanding. I just wanted to quickly say that your personal statement is the life of the entire application. And like Wale has said, you need about 10 evidences apart from your LORs, which is your letter of recommendation. You also need some few references. We always advise people to have references so that your application can have more strength and capacity. What is most important is that in building these 10 evidences, you need to create your links and screenshots from your digital footprint. So Wale has said this extensively, guys. Everything you've done in the last 5 years is important. I mean, just like Wale has said, I didn't believe I had done so much until I started putting my documents together. I started putting my portfolio together. Just a little, if I can take you guys back a little, I had set up a YouTube channel because I had so much conversations. I had been on 2 TEDx presentations, I'd been on so many panel conversations. I've delivered a whole lot of keynote addresses, around technology and advocacy. And, as beautiful as all of these things were, I just didn't know that I'd done so much until I Googled my name. I'm saying it now for somebody to note. After this webinar, please go Google your name and try to see everything you have under your name. If you just have Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, you probably need to do more on your digital footprint. But sometimes, especially for people who have been either deliberate or not deliberate with media, you could probably see articles you've written, you could probably see a whole lot of stuff that you probably have forgotten you've done. So we create all of those links, would get some screenshots that probably speaks to the work you have done, and would use that to normally put together your evidences. Like I said, Technician gives you the leeway of having about 10 evidences. The evidences is broken into 2. It's broken into the mandatory evidences and the optional criteria. Mandatory criteria, optional criteria. Optional criteria has 1, 2, 3, 4. Mandatory criteria, just has a drop down. But all of this stuff, I think they are put together. They are about 14 to 15, evidences in all the criteria, but you just need 10 of those, which is very important. The next slide, please. I mean, what is also very important is for you to understand that it's an application process, right? And you don't just apply to the Home Office. No, you go through the Technician. Technician is still the endorsing body for the Global Talent Technology Visa route. For those people who are probably architects, those people who are probably in the academia, they have various endorsing body. I know that the Royal Academy endorses for education. I know FIBA endorses for architecture. I know Royal Culture endorses for arts, crafts, music, fashion design, and all of those other routes. But because we are speaking about the technology routes today, Technician endorses the tech. So you register on Technician, pay the fees on Technation, upload your evidences, upload your CV, upload your personal statements, your letters of recommendation, and you begin the waiting game. The moment you get an email confirming, most times if you're in the UK, it will take about 8 weeks according to Technation, but it's usually shorter than that. If you're outside the UK, I think it takes about 6 weeks, but I think it's usually shorter than that. For some people, who have very interesting applications, it may take a while. But I've seen someone who turned in an application, probably on a Monday, and by Friday, he got his letter of endorsement. So it's dependent on probably the situation on ground. Let's move to the next slide. Wale was talking about your personal statement, and one of the reasons why he emphasized on your personal statement, which is supposed to be 1,000 words, by the way, is that your personal statement has criteria. There are some things that must be in your personal statement. One of those things is what inspired you to get into the technology field. Another very important thing is where you are going to settle in the UK. For Wale, he chose Manchester. And it's always expected that you have a reason why you're choosing Manchester. Manchester in the UK is one of the flashpoints of digital technology, because the United Kingdom has an ambitious goal to become a hub for digital technology by 2030. And Manchester, London, and I think Birmingham are 3 cities that are the flagship cities for technology development in the UK. And so when you come up with those kind of, details on your personal statement, anybody who is evaluating knows what you're talking about. So research is quite important when you do this. You have to also understand the market you're coming to. You have to understand what the job market is saying. Do you want to come in to start up something? Do you want to come in to get a job? I mean, the choice is yours, but it's important that you have to plan your integration strategy. The beautiful part is that we have a community we can bring you into that supports already people who have global talent endorsements on how they can settle in when they come in. But like I always say, not everybody's going to do, you have to do some work. Nobody's going to help you do what you're supposed to do for yourself. Wale, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the last
Yeah, this
step.
is the last slide. So I just wanted to add to what you have said, because it's one thing getting the visa, it's another thing getting, the resources, it will require, right? Another thing that is important is integration. And I believe that's where, companies like BlueSkyCitadel is well positioned, to give you that right network you need, to give you the know-how on how to navigate the job market, because the job market alone in the UK is another thing to crack, another nut to crack on its own, and we have people like Blue Sky that can help you navigate through that process in terms of your CV when you get here, how you can repackage your CV in a way that it can give you, opportunities and all of that. But before we wrap up the session, it's good that you also quickly know how we can help, because the reason why we are here is for those that, like I said, all this information we are giving to you is on the public domain. If you go on our website, if you even go on the blog session, same thing with Blue Sky, you see some of this information, but information is not enough. There are still some important things you need to, put together, or you need to know, so that you can, get this endorsement. And for us at Endorse, we can help. Of course, the assessment is first, which, is open to the public. Second stage is preparing you, and then the last is helping you actually submit the application. And if you look at, our roadmap, right, it starts from sessions like this, and then, we take it to the next level and all of that. But we know that not everybody would be on the same journey. right? But for us at Endorse, we support people at every journey. We know that some do not have what it takes yet. Those kind of people, we have partners like, BlueSkyCitadel that can help us, get those people to a level where they have things like people to recommend them, they have some, things to show as track record. And then we take it up, from the place where, okay, you have something substantial, or we come in terms of you need to build your digital footprint more and all of that till you get to, the point where you can apply. So in terms of steps, now the first step is to know your eligibility, which we have given you the platform where you can check your eligibility. So if you haven't taken the link in the first when I started, you can take it now so that you can quickly run through to know where you stand in terms of your eligibility. It is free for the people on this call for this community can quickly take advantage of it. Then the next thing is, if you qualify and then you want to take the conversation to the next level, right? You want to know, have it like a one-on-one session with our mentors, which will last for about 45 minutes. The value is £300, but for the sake of this call and partnership with Citadel, it's not going to go for that price. Another thing we're going to do is we're going to give you a complete guide, which we'll call Ultimate Global Talent Visa Guide. It includes everything you need to know. The cost, you need to know the calculations. If you have a dependent, how much will they be paying? Will it be different from if the person is an adult? So all of those information are embedded in that PDF. The PDF alone costs £150, but we're saying you are not going to be paying that on, because you attended this webinar. Also, we're going to be giving you like a checklist where you don't need to be racking your head around, oh, what do I need? What do I need? We already have, a checklist that shows, okay, go and look for this. You need this for your application to be intact. You need this. So we're also going to give you that. So all this package inclusive costs about £554. That's the total value. But because you have attended this webinar, we're just going to give you all of this in 99.99 pounds. If you're interested, you can please reach out to BlueSkyCitadel, and then we can take it to the next level. And then if eventually you want to go with us on this process, which means that you're ready to go, we have 3 different packages. Now, we know that some people want to apply by themselves, but they need things like us to help them prepare like a personalized roadmap. And then you take that, you go and build upon that, get all those evidences, and then you can apply by yourself. That costs about £1,500. Another package we have is for those that you don't need a roadmap, you already know what you need to put together. That's very okay. But before you submit, you want like your document reviewed, because we mentioned, there are some technicalities. Like for instance, we mentioned 2 earlier regarding the personal statement. Not everybody knows that it must be 1,000 words. Not everybody knows that it must not be more than 3 pages, right? As simple as that, even though you have the best type of evidences, it won't fly. That's just the truth. So those are some of the things we'll look at in terms of your document review, in terms of arrangement, in terms of your storytelling. We can advise you. That costs only £499, about £500. I mean, that's about the cheapest. And then if you want the main or the full application support with dedicated mentors, which means that they would hold your hand from the beginning to the very end to make sure you get everything you need, give you all the support and all of that. Use our, what's it called, clouds to give you every support you need. That cost about £4,999. But to also mention this before this call, this is our regular price, but this Blue Sky team have been talking to us, been doing a lot of back and forth, and finally they're able to get 10% discount for everyone that comes through BlueSkyCitadel. So if you are interested, if you come to us directly, honestly, it's just going to be this price. But if you want the discount, which of course they have the discount code, you need to come through them, and then through them, you're going to get the discount code. And then when you come to us, we can give you the discount. So that's just going to be all from us. So we can take questions for now. Over to you, Pat. Thank you for having us again.
Wow, amazing, amazing information. I mean, like, who feels empowered tonight? Who feels empowered tonight? Our guests in the room, that's some knowledge here that Wale has given to us. Knowledge shared. You know, what you don't know, you don't know. I don't know if you've heard about that before. So you have an opportunity here right at your doorstep. So if you're still in the UK and you, because I think one of the things that was a burden point for us on Blue Sky Citadel was seeing people that have trained on the platform, and because they have a visa that is restricting them from doing some kind of job, where we're in a situation that they can't do anything about it unless something changes about their visa. So I would say encourage anyone here, if this is something that interests you, which I think for anyone who is already thinking about the future, what their future needs to look like, what they want their future, what you've envisioned your future to be, this is an investment in yourself, an investment that will take you far. So I want to say thank you to our presenters tonight, Wale and Busayo. I'm glad that you got the opportunity, and you want to share with people and help as many people as possible. And my prayer is that the heart that you have to share with people, so that they can get that knowledge and also get the opportunity that you have. I pray that God will continue to bless that part. I mean, like in Blue Sky Citadel, I think one of the things that has helped us as a community as well is that when you have like-minded people rubbing shoulders together, what you find that is that the community will continue to grow. So if you're here, don't second guess it. And again, you are also going to get some discounts because you are coming in through Blue Sky Citadel. So I just want to encourage you, don't give up on yourself. If you think you need to work on your digital footprints, we are here to help you. If you think you need to go back and check what you need to do, if it means, okay, I need to get some IT exposure, I need to get some digital technology exposure. I have no idea. I don't know anything about IT, but I think this sounds good to me. You can come to us on Blue Sky Citadel. We offer different courses. And of course, we have mentors who have been on this platform, who have been through our training program, who are mentors in the community now, and we've been able to write reference letters for them, okay, which has yielded for the technician application. Yes, we have about 2 or 3, yes, and they've been able to get themselves endorsed. So All of this is not naysaying, it is true. Wale and Busayo are evidences of this global visa talent application. So if you want to make use of it, please do. And you can reach out to us. I hope everyone here has registered through the Zoom link, because if you're going to be getting the discount, we'll also be checking your details on that registration link as well, to be able to apply that discount for you if you are going to go ahead and apply. So if anyone has any question, please put your hand up if you can on the Zoom. You just need to raise your hand. There's a raise hand icon there. Raise your hand and ask your questions. Thank you very much, everyone.
Yeah, thanks, Pat, for that. So just quickly, if Wale and Busayo can come quickly, because they actually shared their story with me anyway, which I think is interesting. Because some people might be asking, why you? What do you know? Have you gone through the experience before? I know you briefly mentioned it anyway. It would be good for you to actually go through. And to be honest, one of those, when I listened to their story, was like, I checked my email 50 times in a day. It was really good anyway. So, but yeah, I think, yeah, it would be good to hear, and maybe in a few minutes, how did you go through it? What is your experience about this, if you want to share? Thank you.
Okay, maybe myself before Busayo comes up. I actually applied from Nigeria. You know, the funniest thing is, I mean, I've heard about the global talent since like 2019, but I was part of, the people that wanted to change Nigeria, right? So, I mean, I was bouncing it. And then I had someone that always come to me and say, "Why do you qualify, apply for this?" I don't need, no, Nigeria. But it got to a point, right? Like, we have to just tell ourselves the truth. Some of us that are passionate about innovation and all of that, we were not having the right enabling environment. We needed a change, of atmosphere and all of that. And then I discussed with my wife, and women, they like good things, and she was like, okay, let's try it out. And we started the process, right? And we started putting our stuff together. But one of the things that helped me was because before I started the application, I already started documenting my stuff. I had lots of digital footprints. I was just doing it for fun of it, because I also have digital marketing background aside tech. So I just feel like you must have like a nice digital footprint if that's what you do. But when it was time for me to put together the evidences, they were just readily available. And then between January and March, I finalized putting together my document, consulted one or two people as mentors. They went through, they reviewed it, and it was good to go. So I applied March, and April went, there was nothing. Like in a day, you're checking your email. I mean, that's the highest time I've been serious with email. I now knew what the importance of having an email. So I was I would check my inbox, check my spam, check my junk, check my sent, just to know that maybe mistakenly the thing came to sent, right? But I was also praying and fasting, because for me, if it wasn't this option, there wasn't going to be any option, because I mean, I didn't have anybody abroad as at then. No uncle, no brother, nobody. My parents were humble people. It was just going to be me. And I don't have money for masters. In fact, I'm not even planning. I'm not an academic person. I'm an innovator, right? So I wasn't thinking that direction. This was just going to be the only route that'll be the best. And fortunately for me, May 3rd, I was on a fateful afternoon. It was on a Wednesday. Wednesday, luckily for me, happens to be the day I fast, you know. I was fasting and trusting God that, Lord, this is the only, which means that some of us that have applied and have gotten it, it's not that we have two heads, you know, we are people like you. We just put our stuff together in faith. We gave it a shot, right? And then on the fateful afternoon, I was on my dining table. I was working from home that day. It was around 3:05 or something like that. And then I refreshed my mail and then I got the email from home office. My wife was at work. Opening what I've been waiting for was an issue. So eventually I summoned the courage to say, this thing has come, opened it. And then I saw a lot of stories and this, because these guys would take time. In fact, the feedback sometimes is even more than because they will take time to look at everything, and then the story. And then what I saw eventually was, with this reason, we have been able to endorse you, blah, blah, blah. Oh my God. It was like, like the world was on standstill. So I picked the phone, called my wife, and I told her, guess what? She said, what? I said, we have been endorsed. Oh my God. She just closed for the day. She came home. Till she came, I was just thanking God, dancing. You know, so I just want to tell you that this is something you can also try. There's no crime in trying, right? I'm not saying you try when you don't have anything. But if you have something substantial, you just need to build it a little bit and give it a try. Don't forget that every time you do not try, right, you are missing 100%. But if you try, at least you stand a chance, right? So it's worth trying. And I mean, it could change everything, you know, everything. And I mean, in 3 months, we packed our load and then we left Nigeria. And then here we are in the UK, thriving, doing exploit, changing lives, touching lives. Yeah, you can also be that person. Busayo, are you there? You want to quickly share your story? So I see some of the questions on the charts that, can I apply from Nigeria? I mean, like I told my story, I applied from Nigeria. Yeah, Busayo, over to you.
Yeah, I was just trying to share my screen to show them an example of the congratulations letter.
You see how yours handy. I mean, that kind of letter, you can even frame it.
You know, good enough. We have people who do full press statements that they got endorsed. And guys, sincerely, I mean, I'm not a good marketer, you know. I just speak to the facts because all my life being an advocate, right? I just stumbled into technology. But I think what was important.
Do you want to give Busayo access to share? I think that might be helpful to someone or something. If you still want to share that email.
Yeah, okay.
If you can just grant him access to share, okay.
No, sorry. This is not it. I need to cut this down. This is not it.
Okay.
I'm trying to get the so I mean I had worked in the not-for-profit sector for almost a decade, and just like what Wale was saying, if you probably Google my name by mistake, you would see the level of work I had done, holding government to account, leading advocacies, calling out state governments, federal governments, local governments, all the governments in Nigeria. And I had worked in the 36 states in Nigeria. I had also worked in about 12 African countries, leading social accountability and asking governments, huge questions, right? And yeah, I think this is what I wanted to share. And this is how you're going to get your letter. I just screen grabbed this part because I needed to use it for something. And I believed that Nigeria was going to be a great nation. Nigeria is still going to be a great nation, but I also realized that the kind of work I wanted to begin to do was to support government differently. And so after so much persuasion, I put in an application. I think I started building my evidences in January 2023. Yeah, January 2023. And by February, 1 month, I was done. I think I submitted my application on the 12th of February or 12th of February. And we got into the waiting game, just like what Wale was saying, refreshing the emails every day. There's a way we check when your application is open. When Technician has opened your application,
I remember.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw when it was opened the first time. I knew when it was opened the second time. I knew when it was opened the third time. So normally, when they open your application after 3 times, that should, you should get a response.
The conspiracy that if it was open once, twice, they can endorse you. But if it was open 3 times.
3 times. Yeah.
You want to check and check and check. Same thing happened to me. It was open 3 times. As at the 3rd time, I was already telling my wife, let's
I think mine was
it could also mean this the other way, right? The fact that they open it 3 times means that they are interested. If it's only 1 time and they say, okay,
that's it.
No, let's just send.
So that we have this we have the way we view things, especially when there's a group thing. So people tell you, and they just open it 1 time, 2 times. You get a mail, But after the 3rd time, I hadn't gotten a mail. My wife we just discovered we were pregnant. So my wife was at the hospital at the time because she couldn't eat. She was throwing up, and I just left the hospital that afternoon, went back home to catch some sleep because I was staying over at the hospital with her. And I slept. I just opened my eyes and picked my phone and checked my email, and voila, I saw. So there are a whole lot of things on top before this what is it called? So they tell you, please find below your endorsement decision letter. You just know that it's either you're endorsed or not, and I went down and I saw that I was endorsed. And the next thing I did was to call my wife on the sick bed, just like Wale explained. She didn't come home from the hospital because she was still there, but it changed a whole lot of things. And I think I got this endorsement 15th of March. By the 15th of April, I was in the UK. And so it just took me 1 month, to pack my bags and move to the UK. So, guys, the truth is, whether we like it or not, the global talent visa just gives you more opportunities than what's your regular visa, and it's a tier 1 visa. In fact, for people who are petty, we have some friends who are petty, and they'll tell you it's an expatriate visa. The truth of the matter is, if you have a global talent endorsement, you're an expatriate in the UK. The same way you see expatriates in Nigeria is the same way you're an expatriate in the UK. And it doesn't restrict you, it doesn't keep you on a job. You can do anything you like. You can start up your organization. I'm building a startup here. In fact, this is Endorse is the third startup we are building, in the UK, and it gives you the opportunity to do what you always wanted to do. So probably we'll just look at the questions we have. Someone is saying, do you need to be financially buoyant after endorsement? I mean, maybe your flight ticket and your accommodation, you need to have money for that, but you don't need any proof of fund. You don't need any proof of fund. This is the only visa currently that I know of that you do not need a proof of fund for you to.
Also, you do not need things like IELTS.
No, you don't need any of those. You don't need any of those uninteresting documentations. All what you need is you get your endorsement, you go in, you apply for your visa, you get your visa, and you are probably on your way to the UK. Like I said, I was in the UK 1 month after I was endorsed. And through the ports, in fact, I was teaching people at the port of entry on what the global talent visa was or is about. And they were listening, those white guys. I was lecturing them. I was showing them that I was a global talent. I was an expatriate coming to their country to do them a favor. I'm trying to look for other questions.
What
I have not worked
about anyway.
Say that again.
I said it's worth bragging about anyway.
Absolutely, I tell you the truth. I've not worked in a year because of mental health. Would this affect my application even if I have 6 years of experience? Absolutely not. It's not going to affect your application. I think you need to book a one-on-one session for us to look through what you have. IHS, yes, you need to pay IHS, right? So as part of your visa application, you need to pay IHS. So for those people who are Global Talent Promise candidates, you need to pay for 5 years IHS. But there's a way you go about it where you can pay for 2 or 3 years. Then when you get into the UK, you can obviously renew for the remaining 5 years. The beautiful thing is, after 5 years, if you have stayed in the UK for 150 days per year consecutively in the 5 years, you can apply for ILR. At the moment you apply for ILR, all what you need to do is you need to do your, it's called ENIX, your statement of comparability. You need to do your life in the UK test, and you get an ILR. And you know that after you get your ILR at about 1 year thereabout, you can be able to get your British passport if you want. For those of you who have dependents, if you're on the 3 years route, which is the exceptional talent route, that's what myself and Wale are on. It's 3 years to ILR, not 5 years. It's 3 years to ILR. But your dependents would have to be for 5 years, right? For those of you who have children that are less than 18, I think that the moment you get your ILR, for children who are born in the UK, the moment the main applicant gets his ILR, the child can put in for his British passport. That is if you want to. Can someone who studied in China use this route? So long as you have experience, knowledge on digital technology, or you've worked in that space in a product-led organization, you can apply. I think, Ty or Joe, I think you need to book a session so that we can review critically and advise you. What about IHS fees? I just talked about IHS fees. For the people on the 3 years route, you pay 3 years IHS. For people on the 5 year route, you pay 5 years IHS. If it's just you, if it's with your dependents, you need to pay for everybody individually, as the case is. But there's a hack to it. Those people who have 5 years on a 5 years journey, you can pay, say 2-3 years, come into the UK. I don't advise you to pay 1 year, because it will take you about 1 year to properly settle in. I advise you to pay for 2 years, then you can renew your payment in the UK, because by then you'll probably have more resources to be able to do that. Can someone who doesn't have experience go through this route? Unfortunately, you need to have an experience on digital technology. But the beautiful part is Blue Skies I hope I'm calling it well. Blue Skies would definitely support those people who you think you don't have enough experience, you've not done a lot of stuff in the digital technology field. They can support you at that level. When you're ripe enough, you can come over. But we have other routes that we have in the offing. Wale would probably talk about that before we leave. I'm currently in Manchester on the tattoo. I want to switch. I am a media web developer with an organization. Yes, I think you need to, Dave, I think you need to book a session so that we can review this critically with you, because what our mentors do, and when you come to a one-on-one session, is we'll break down everything into more granular bits for you to understand. I missed the question. Can someone who does not have experience? Okay, I think I answered that question. Someone who studied in China, I answered that question. I'm currently transferring cybersecurity. How do I become eligible, exceptional potential? Yeah, because you're just transitioning, you probably need some few years of experience, maybe 1 or 2 more years of experience. But you see, anything can happen, guys. We've seen people who, so long as you're able to tell a story, and that's where Endorse comes in. Our abilities to tell a story for you would probably go a long way. So please take the assessment. The link is there. Yeah, you can also shoot us an email, but remember that for you to get your discount, you need to go through our friends who invited us to this podcast. You need to go through them. Okay, I'm currently a DevOps engineer and I have a large footprint in tech space in what I do. Exposure like media write-up, seminars. Now, so Abdul Malik, please book a session. Book a one-on-one session. When you go through the assessment, you definitely see how to book a one-on-one session. Abdul Malik, let's talk. I see you probably have some potential here, and we can work out something. I think that's all the questions. Wale, over to you. Probably you could tell them about the next things before we shut down.
Okay,
thanks.
So I mean, I hope it was it was a good time spent. Yeah. But before we wrap up this session, for some, because the global talent is actually for expatriates, you need to have evidences, have a lot of things to prove that you are an exceptional talent or an exceptional promise. We understand that some of us do not have up to that, right? And for us, we also have opportunities for some people in that category to look at countries like the US. I'm not going to talk much about that today. Maybe probably in another webinar like this, we can also share on how you can look at US visa opportunity that are like global talent, right? That gives you flexibility to, either take up a job or start up something, or, but that's going to be on another webinar, maybe by next month, where we're going to explain how that works. However, we also have an upcoming webinar on that this coming Sunday. If you are not patient enough, the jar is frying you. If you're in Nigeria, right, you want to quickly get the information, you can check us out on social media to see the information about our upcoming webinar. You can check on Endorse on Instagram, online. We're also on LinkedIn to see information about our upcoming. But definitely, we're going to have something with BlueSkyCitadel where we're going to share explicitly on how the US, it's called EB1 and EB2 visas. You can begin to do your research, but we're going to have a webinar on that. That's another thing that I just wanted to share with us. I think that's going to be
sorry, Wally. Do you want to put your social media handle on the chat so anyone that wants to contact you directly can do that, if that's okay.
Yeah, let me quickly
Yeah.
work that now.
And to be honest, we don't mind if they contact you directly. So, and yeah, because we are non-profit anyway. So when they contact you and they mention our name, then you can give them the discount code for them
Good.
to be able to do that. They don't
Yeah.
need to come through us. Or if they come through us, we'll direct them to you anyway.
Awesome.
As well,
Awesome.
anyway. Yeah. So yeah, so that's okay.
Awesome. So, I mean, reach out to us, but for you to get the 10% discount, you have to use the name Blue Sky Citadel because that's your pass to it. If you are just coming to us, I mean, there won't be any discount. So I just dropped the Twitter undo. I'm about dropping the Facebook, and then lastly, I'm gonna drop the Instagram. So you can follow us for updates, for tips. We also share educational content. We're working on some, blog posts. We're gonna share across board. You can join us so that you can get the latest information regarding this visa route. Once again, thank you for having us. You can also connect with myself and Busayo online, Wale Gujobi online, Instagram, Twitter. Same thing with Busayo Murakio, boom, on social media platform. Yeah. Thank you, Pat.
Yeah, it's absolutely a pleasure having you tonight, you and Busayo. We are bringing you back. We want you to come back and talk about the EB1 visa and the American version of Global Talent here in the UK. So we're bringing you back, and because we want as many people as possible who need this information to get that information, make an informed decision on on what they want to do with themselves as they progress in their own journey in life. And of course, everyone's journey is different and peculiar. So let Wale and Busayo are there with their mentors and endorse. They're happy to help you. And if you do need to work on your digital footprint, you need that tech uh, education, you need that tech work experience. So Blue Sky Citadel is your blog, will support you. And of course, if you are in the program and your preparation of somebody said preparation and on the opportunity works together. So you've heard about this opportunity now. Your work now is to prepare. If you don't have, if you've done your assessment and you feel you don't have what it takes, or if you've gone for the consultation and they send you back to say you need to go and work on ABCD within the digital space, please come back to Blue Sky Citadel and prepare. Everything is a journey. You take it one step at a time. It's a journey, and you will eventually get there. One thing I know is that when you're trying to achieve something and you are not getting the right help that you need, what should take you 3 months can take you 3, 6, 9 years because you didn't get the right help. Okay, so please get the help that you need. Help is available. And thank you so much for coming tonight, everyone on the call, our guests, our presenters. We love you all, and let's keep thriving wherever we find ourselves. Have a good night, everyone. Deji, any last words?
Yeah, thank you, everybody. So I think that is us, to be honest. So, and it's been a really an inspiring session, and I want to thank the Endorse team anyway. So, and for me, it's something I believe in what they are doing is they are empowering people. And if you do need their service, please reach out to them. Like they said, if you want to get the discounts, you can use the Blue Sky discount. To be honest, you don't even need to come through us. You don't need to come to us. Just contact them. We are happy to, be able to support them to be able to do it. And the more people that will you'll be able to talk to, and the more people you are able to help anyway. So if there's anybody that you think, yeah, could be eligible for this, please reach out to them. And the link to the video is on the chat. You can share with them so that they can watch as well anyway. So yeah, thank you so much. And if you're interested in our courses, Blue Sky, we are the leading brand in delivering empowerment courses in IT, be it cybersecurity, software testing, business analysis, data analysis. With practical experience, we give you practical experience for you to be able to get work in the UK. So the link is on the chat. Is you go to crc.blueskycitadel.org. You can see our courses in there. So, and yeah, even any of these courses can also give you the ability to be endorsed as well. So that's why there's a symbiosis within relationship within Endorse and Blue Sky. Anyway, if you're looking for the experience and you're looking for even creating the network, you are looking to create the content as well, we can help you with that. So, but if you are looking to get applied to do any application, I think, yeah, go directly to Endorse and they will be able to help you. Thank you so much for the session. Hopefully it's been useful to everyone. Yeah, over to you, Pat. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, and that is it, everyone. Have a good night. We overshot by 22 minutes. I guess because we still have questions and answers to respond to. But I believe everyone here has been empowered, and tonight you would start to have a think about what is the next